In 2004, Young Buck was the platinum-selling member of the most dangerous crew in hip-hop. 6 years later, the IRS walked into his house and took everything. His watches, his artwork, his studio equipment, his 50 Cent plaque. And the man who bought what was left at the auction was 50 Cent himself. This is the story of how a brotherhood became the most calculated dismantling of a rapper's career in hip-hop history. Let's get into it. David Darnell Brown grew up in the streets of North Nashville, Tennessee. In the year 2000, he was shot multiple times during a home invasion by attackers looking for narcotics.
I'm watching the walls fly off and he was just spraying in the house, you know.
His injuries were so severe, he needed a massive blood transfusion at Vanderbilt Hospital just to survive. That survival gave him something you can't manufacture in a studio: authentic grit. And that's exactly what 50 Cent was looking for. It's 2003, G-Unit is the biggest movement in music, but founding member Tony Yayo was locked up on gun charges just as they were putting together the debut album, Beg for Mercy. 50 needed a replacement, someone who could help G-Unit appeal to the massive southern hip-hop market. Young Buck was the answer. The chemistry was instant. Beg for Mercy was a monster hit, and Buck's 2004 solo debut, Straight Outta Cashville, debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200 and went platinum. To the fans, G-Unit was an unstoppable brotherhood. Behind the scenes, the cracks were already showing. So, where did it all go wrong? It all started coming apart around 2007 with the release of Buck's second album, Buck the World. The tension really kicked off over management. 50 Cent had a major financial disagreement with Sean Money XL, who was the president of G-Unit Records and, more importantly, Young Buck's personal manager. 50 Cent demanded that everyone in G-Unit fire Sean Money. Tony Yayo and Lloyd Banks did what the boss said, but Young Buck, he flat out refused. Sean Money was his close friend. Buck was even the best man at his wedding.
Sean Money had became a best friend of mine. I'm the best man on this man's wedding. That's how close Sean was.
For 50 Cent, this was total insubordination. He started icing Buck out, touring without him, and pulling promotional support for his music. Things exploded publicly in March 2008. During an interview, Buck made a shocking claim. Despite being a multi-platinum artist, he claimed he had never seen or cashed a single royalty check during his entire time with G-Unit. Basically, his contract allowed the label to use his profits to cover the costs and deficits of other artists on the roster, leaving him to rely entirely on the cash he made from doing live shows. 50 Cent was absolutely furious that Buck was airing out their business in public. In April 2008, 50 went on the legendary New York radio station Hot 97 and officially kicked Young Buck out of G-Unit on live radio.
You could take this as official notice right here because we're on the hottest morning show in the world right now.
Ow.
Pretty much you could say Young Buck is no longer in the group G-Unit,
accusing him of missing recording sessions and having a drug problem. What happened next is one of the coldest moves in hip-hop history. If you're enjoying this breakdown so far, let YouTube know by hitting that like button and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get back to the video. Now, we get to the moment that changed rap beefs forever. To understand why this next moment is crazy, you have to understand the desperation Young Buck was feeling. Getting kicked out of G-Unit left Buck in a terrible spot financially. Because of the contract dispute, he couldn't release new music, and G-Unit hadn't spoken to him in 8 straight months. Worse than that, the tax man was knocking. Like a lot of young artists, Buck didn't understand that the massive checks he received from the label were gross income, meaning no taxes had been taken out. He thought his business managers were handling it, but they weren't. Suddenly, the government's telling him he owes hundreds of thousands of dollars. Because Buck and 50 Cent share the same business management, Buck assumed 50 could just authorize a transfer to fix the IRS issue. But instead, he was left out in the cold. Completely desperate, out of money, and feeling totally ostracized from the group he considered family, Buck called 50 Cent to try to make peace. What Buck didn't know was that his big brother was recording the entire conversation. A month later, 50 Cent leaked the audio online. It was brutal. Instead of acting tough, the tape featured an emotionally broken Young Buck crying and pleading to be let back into the crew. In the audio, you can hear Buck crying and saying,
I don't know what to do. I just want that same family feel like it's always been. Man, I know I'm out of line. I don't want you to dismember me from the crew, honestly, period.
He also admitted to messing up his finances, saying, I'm an impulsive dude. I do what I want to do. Being that way, 50 let me do what I wanted to do. And how did 50 Cent respond to the tape? He calmly told them,
I know. Don't worry about it. You gotta be able to stay closer to me, Buck, so you don't fuck up. You see what I'm saying?
50 acted like a comforting friend, all while planning to use the audio to destroy Buck's street credibility. Buck later said he felt totally betrayed. Feeling 50 released the tape just to make him look like a weak individual to the public. After the tape dropped, it was all out war. Buck tried to save face immediately by dropping a track called Tape Conversation, later in feature in the game. He completely ignored the crying on the tape and leaned back into his tough guy persona rapping. If you see me in the streets rolling, if you see me in the block holding. But 50 Cent wasn't going to let that slide. In 2009, he dropped the song So Disrespectful, taking ruthless shots at Buck's financial struggles and rumored addictions. 50 rapped, that butt like a gator. Tell mama he done smoked the TV. I know he with more dope than BG. Man, that blew all of his chips on them breezies. They went back and forth for years. Even though G-Unit had a brief reunion in 2014, it fell apart again quickly, and the beef evolved into something much more personal. By 2019, the beef took a completely new turn. Young Buck wasn't just defending his street cred anymore. He decided to attack 50 Cent's legacy as an artist. The bombshells came during interviews. Buck started boldly claiming to the media that he was actually the pen behind some of 50 Cent's music. During an interview on Revolt TV's Big Facts, Buck stated, I wrote 50's music, bro. I done wrote full songs where you is listening to 50 rap my words, word for word. Buck specifically pointed to the song Too Rich, claiming that he wrote the song completely off the top of his head and eked it from the top to bottom, with 50 maybe only changing a word or a line here and there.
Word for word. The might change one here or line here, but when you listen to the Too Rich song, that's just off of my head.
In the world of hip-hop, accusing the rap legend of using a ghostwriter, especially former artists from their own label, is the ultimate sign of disrespect. But as bold as Buck's claims were, the real battle wasn't happening in the recorded booth. It was happening in federal court. Here's where the story really gets dark, and we have to slow down to appreciate just how devastating this was for Young Buck. Remember the tax issues we talked about? Well, in August 2010, they caught up to him in the worst way possible. Federal IRS agents literally raided Young Buck's house in Nashville. The agents seized his white leather dining chairs, his expensive watches, his tattoo kit, a craps table, his recording studio equipment, and his precious 50 Cent G-Unit plaques. Things got so bad they even seized his refrigerator, though the IRS did nicely loan the fridge back to him so he could eat. Facing an unbelievable $11.5 million debt across 14 different claims, Buck was forced to file for bankruptcy. When you're down, your enemy kicks you, and 50 Cent put on his steel-toed boots. G-Unit Records immediately slapped Buck with a $10 million lawsuit, just in case he tried to breach his contract and release independent music during his bankruptcy. On top of that, 50 personally filed a claim in bankruptcy court, saying Buck owed him money from a $250,000 personal loan. This $250,000 claim became a brutal legal war. Buck argued that the money wasn't a loan at all, but rather a standard industry advance for future music. Buck's lawyers fought tooth and nail, pointing out that 50 Cent's team couldn't produce bank statements, business records, or tax filings to prove the money was ever even transferred. At one point, Buck basically told the court, he never proved that he gave me the money. But in bankruptcy court, paper trails and technicalities rule. The court ultimately sided with 50 Cent and accepted his claim as valid. Buck was in Chapter 7 bankruptcy. He had no choice but to sit back and watch as his entire life work was auctioned off to the highest bidder. We're talking his precious music catalog, his cars, his jewelry, and his property. The estate managed to raise about $1.05 million from the auction, but the lawyers and the administrative costs absolutely ate the estate alive, taking nearly $445,000 just in fees. In the end, the court officially ordered that 50 Cent would receive exactly $200,006 from the liquidated assets to settle the debt. 50 didn't just beat Buck, he legally bought out his legacy. As if taking his money and his music wasn't enough, 50 Cent used the internet to make Buck's life a living hell. 50 is known as the King of Petty, but his strategy against Buck went way beyond jokes. It was a calculated character assassination, designed to completely destroy Buck's credibility with the core, hyper-masculine against the rap audience. It started with standard trolling. When Buck got arrested for missing meetings with his bond supervisor, 50 Cent posted Buck's mugshot online, mocking his shaved head and joking that the police must have hit him. Later, when Buck recorded a video celebrating the prison release of the former drug kingpin, Big Meech, 50 Cent felt slighted and responded by directly attacking Buck's sexuality, posting, "This fool fell out with me because he likes boys." This wasn't just 50 Cent being mean on Instagram. This was a deliberate strategy to alienate Young Buck from his fan base. By weaponizing homophobia against him, 50 Cent was trying to ensure that even if Buck could somehow survive the bankruptcy and the contract disputes, his brand and his street credibility would permanently be ruined. And that brings us to today. The story of Young Buck and 50 Cent is honestly a tragedy. You have an incredibly talented artist with an authentic story who just didn't understand the business side of the music industry. On the other side, you have an absolute shark of a businessman who knew exactly how to use contracts, federal courts, and social media to systematically dismantle his enemy. What do you guys think? Did 50 Cent take it too far by bringing in the IRS and weaponizing his platform? Or is it all fair in love and hip hop? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more in-depth hip hop breakdowns. And hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. I'll catch you next time.